Hello and welcome back to Icing Pucks. This is Bex. We've got Ryan here, and today we have a very, very special guest, Eula Idemoto from Northern California's Women's Hockey League, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And you're here today to discuss what you guys do and where you're from and all your history and all that jazz.
Yeah, totally. Excited to share, yeah. Show your head, yeah.
Ryan, do you want to say hello?
Hi, first off, hi.
Hi.
We did meet with Eula before, and we were blown away. So we actually decided to do two of these. One with Eula, who is the president of her league, or however you put it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And one with one of her league skaters later on, because when we met, there was so much history and there's so much that they do. We wanted to shine a light on both sides. And we promise not to throw a lot of information at your face. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully, maybe.
Maybe.
Do you guys consider yourself a beer league?
We call ourselves a recreational league, but we absolutely are in the beer league category. That's definitely, I think, one of our functions for sure.
Just realized I hadn't asked that yet. But yeah, so Eula, do you want to take over and tell us all about
Yeah,
it?
sure. So yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity just to share about the NCWHL, the Northern California Women's Hockey League. We're a league that is primarily in the Bay Area. We have been around since 1992, so we're over 30 years old, which is really exciting, and have skated all throughout the Bay from like Fremont to San Jose to San Mateo to Redwood City. Folks from the area will know we've been all over the Bay, East Bay, South Bay. And so, yeah, have been able to really take advantage of the fact that the Bay is a place with a lot of transplants and had folks come from all over to come and work in tech and have all sorts of different hockey stories, both seasoned and new, and which has been really special for the league. Our league primarily, we operate in the nonprofit space, but we're not a 501c3, which is sort of the traditional nonprofit. We're actually a social welfare group, so that's a 501c4. So a little bit different. And I am the president of the board. So as a nonprofit, we have an elected board that's all volunteers. We do get a little discount from our league fees, thankfully, which is great. But by and large, we're volunteer run. So, we have volunteers that are, from president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and then we have the other part of our board are all the coordinators for our four different divisions and our goalies. So our structure is like I mentioned, four divisions that start from beginner to intermediate to advanced intermediate and elite. So we really have this, very, very wide spread of skaters. Our membership is about as big as it's ever been. We have over 350 skaters in the league, which is enormous for a women's hockey league. A lot of times, they float around, 40 to 60, a little bit more than that. But I think what's been really amazing about our growth is that even though we are, a place that has a lot of turnover, as I mentioned, transplants, they come and go, they come for grad school, they come for tech jobs, and then they go again. Despite all of that, we've been able to maintain steady growth, which is really just speaks to the interest in women's hockey at the recreational level for adults to come in and play, and just the growth of like the knowledge that you could join, that you can skate anywhere. And I think our model with the beginner league has been really special. We have a true beginner league, which is like folks that literally, it could be the first time you put skates on. You don't have to have seen a hockey game. You can come out to give hockey a try, see if you like it. And if you do like it, you can come and play for a season. And there's a proper beginner level. No sandbaggers, no, no people that played in high school or college that are playing in the lowest division. No, we do I think, a really great job and a really intentional job of maintaining the four distinct levels so that folks can come in and find a place to play hockey at whatever level they're at. So yeah, our beginner league right now has almost 100 skaters, so it's almost a third of our league. So the growth has been really amazing. And what was really great this summer, typically we have two seasons, so we usually we have like a winter fall season and a summer season. Typically summer we see a drop off. Folks are either school breaks, people travel, all that stuff. This year was the first year we have on record that we grew in the summer. So even though we had some attrition, folks that typically don't play, we backfilled that and more. Just speaks to the amazing growth between the PWHL growing, the Sharks continuing to grow, the Olympics, heated rivalry, you name it, Shoresy, Letterkenny, all those things that have come out and kind of brought hockey to the mainstream have been awesome. So yeah, that's sort of the league in a nutshell. Yeah.
And I know that you mentioned this to us. For beginners, you touched on it a little. Like, what's your typical like age range for in your league right now?
Yeah, so we're right now we're an over 18 league, though we are revisiting that. We are an over 18 league right now. So we have beginners that are exactly 18 that just, turned 18 and have been able to join us. And we have folks that join us, in their 40s or 50s for the first time putting on skates. Like, especially you hear some great stories of folks who wanted to play when they were younger and just didn't have a place to begin as a young adult, as a, 20-year-old, and have finally found a mainstream way to play in the NCWHL, and came out to give hockey a try. We suited them up. We have I'll talk a little bit about that program, our Give Hockey a Try program. We run it twice a year. It's been incredibly, like, we fill up in less than 24 hours. We post it and it's full. And so folks come out, we suit them up. We have gear, loaner gear and borrowed gear that they can wear, and they go out and do some drills on the ice. They get to, take shots on a goalie, play in a little scrimmage, and just see themselves as hockey players if they want to be. And I think for a lot of folks, especially older adults that, like I mentioned, wanted to play when they were younger and just didn't have a place, it's a really exciting space for them to be in. And many of them, we have a great conversion rate. Almost 50% of folks that come to give hockey a try end up signing up to play the next season. And some of them stay for a long time, some of them don't, but they always want to give it a go. There's a great rate there. Yeah.
Saying of like you're never too old to achieve your dream kind of thing, and I think that's amazing.
Yes.
Especially in hockey narratives where it's so much like you have to be this certain way, you have to have started at this certain time, and you guys just being like, come give hockey a try, see if you like it, come join us on the ice. That is so incredible, and like one of the major things that we're just like trying to do with hockey in general. I think anyone that likes hockey is just to grow the game, and that's a major way to grow the game.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that. I mean, some folks are not NHL fans,
Yeah.
but want to get into hockey, but then they get into the NHL or PWHL. I think PWHL San Jose is coming. We're starting this, and I think that's going to be a huge catalyst for even more growth for the league, because yeah, it's the visibility, right? Like a lot of folks, the older adults that join us later, like they just didn't see them. Like I'm a Filipino woman. Like when I told my mom I was gonna play hockey, she was like, "What? Why would you?" Like I started playing when I was ice hockey when I was like 25, 26. And so yeah, I mean, visibility is a real challenge in hockey, right? Like right now, it's a white male that plays hockey. Like
Exactly.
It really is. It really is.
So yeah, changing that narrative takes time, but I think it's getting done. It's getting done through all of these different ways. So it's exciting time.
I had a question. What's your average size of like people coming and watching the games, or do you allow people to come and watch the game? I assume
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we don't, it's a community rink, so folks can come in and watch at any time. A lot of folks will stick around before and after their games to hang out. It's a great community. I would say folks, the green games, the beginner games, tend to be a little more like, sometimes there's a cheering squad. I think there's like a knitting group that comes out. Like some of them knit, and so some of their knitting circle friends come out and watch them play hockey.
That would
So
be
it's a
me.
very, very community thing. Yeah, very open. And my son came out, he's 3, he came out to watch my game, so lots of families that can come out and watch and things like that. So yeah, very, very open in that way, I think. Lots of folks. We don't get like a lot of, like, it's not a, it's a little house, right? There's a small set of bleachers or something. Like, it's not like a huge showing, but I think it's great that a lot of people stay. Like I'm in the maroon level, which is the third level. I'll stay and watch like a green game after me, and I get to kind of see what the green looks like, and those beginners coming on, or green skaters might come out and stay and watch a blue game, which is like the highest level, and get to see all of that spread. And it's really cool to see the community come together that way. A lot of folks will support each other, and we have players that coach in the beginner division. So some of our red, maroon, and blue skaters, our higher level divisions, will come and coach the green level And so they'll stay and watch games and give people pointers and, make it a really cool learning experience for them too.
Incredible. I love that. It's so supportive. It's the kind of thing we need in like hockey communities. Um, Especially these days, like obviously you're listening to Icing Pucks podcast. We're queer podcast. We're trying to, make a community and hold each other's hands and be like, we're a safe space for everyone here. But it starts with like things like what you guys are doing, just like your league just being there for each other and no judgment, like nothing. That's incredible and amazing. And I don't have the proper words to properly describe all my feelings about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you like when I'm serving as the president right now. I've been the president for almost 3 years, but my role prior was community engagement coordinator, and it was something that I pitched to the board, and they were down to let me try it. And so we have done fundraisers for local we're our own nonprofit, but because we're not a 501(c)(3), we don't really look to like raise funds necessarily to run our league. We run at cost with what folks pay to be a part of the league. But we raised money for Black Girls Hockey Club. We raised money for Second Harvest when the TAMP and SNAP thing happened at the end of last year, and families were going to get cut from food. Like,
Yeah.
we raised $5,000 in like less than a week. Like, we just threw it together. We've done backpack drives and, book drives for local schools and things like that. So it's hockey at its core, but really because of the rich community that's there, there's also something deeply like altruistic about it, where folks, during COVID, obviously we couldn't play, and the league just totally had to shut down. We just couldn't. We were all in shelter in place. Most people donated their league fee back. Most people said, okay, just keep the money. We're going to come back next year. Put it in the assistance fund, which is something I'd love to talk about. Our league does have an assistance fund where if you can't afford to play, because hockey is expensive, we will give you a 50% discount, and the league will cover half your league fee. I haven't heard anyone else do that in any league. And it's run by donations from other league members, and we've always been able to front it. We've never had to turn anyone away from the assistance fund. So knowing that hockey also has huge financial barriers, and that we're able to sort of mitigate that by, leaning on each other, it just speaks so much more about the community that we have. And I was mentioning during COVID, like our skaters who were first responders who were not able to shelter in place, where we're out there, like, we reach out to them. We did beer drives. We made sure they had some support. We tried to reach out to make sure folks weren't isolated. It's an amazing community, and like I said, it's hockey is what brought us together. But I think what keeps us together is something a lot deeper than that. And part of it is this community that we're seeking to build that doesn't really exist in all hockey spaces and hockey communities. So yeah, it's felt very special for a long time. We're really lucky.
That's amazing. One of the things that like we talk about is like the importance of having a community like around you, and you guys definitely do, and it's very sweet. I love it. Just because Bex and I, we both struggle with mental health, and it affects us in different ways. And community, when it comes to mental health, is a huge struggle for someone. And I can only speak for myself. I have agoraphobia, so things could be rough, not gonna lie. um, Beyond like as you're saying, like the hockey is the starting point, but it's all the people together, like that goes beyond the hockey that keeps it. And yeah, we could still like talk about hockey like all day long, but at the end of the day, we're forming this community where everybody understands everyone, and where there's this knowledge of there's a person there, and that's really amazing. And like I've said before, I know we like have a huge hill to go through when we're trying to like do this for the NHL. I know. I'm aware. But I feel like if someone doesn't try, then what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's really important work. I mean, changing narratives is not the work of like one conversation or like a few
right.
conversations. It's like years long work. And
It is.
Yeah, backing up words with action too. Like, it's one thing, we've seen that on some level with the NHL is just like, attempts to acknowledge the LGBTQ community just fall flat because at its core, the commitment's not there yet. Like,
You're
I
right.
don't think I'm saying anything controversial there, but
No.
it will, I hope it will get there. I hope, and I think that, when we spoke earlier, I highlighted, like, I think the Sharks here in the Bay do a really great job of being out there in the community and doing some really tangible things, working with San Francisco Quakes and Team Trans and getting them out on the ice and having like not just like Sharks players, but like members of the team, but they're like the captain being out there, and like Tyler Toffoli and like, and Alex
I
Wendler
know
being really visible. So
I know that Tyler Toffoli like marched in the Pride Parade in Pride Month. I don't have an actual date, guys. I wish I did, but I don't. I do know he marched with his wife
yes,
in the
yeah.
Pride Parade in a Sharks
Yeah,
jersey.
right when he signed. Like I don't think he'd even played with the Sharks yet, and he was at Pride that
Yeah.
year that he
And
came. So yeah.
he did it this last year too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are guys there. It's just
We have allies. Yeah, there are
yeah.
allies here, and I think, like I said, the visibility and the doing is the hard part.
Yes.
The doing is, it's like it's easy. You can hear the narrative is, people can say that they're in support, and then when it comes to shifting power and shifting resources, then that gets sometimes harder for folks. I think the size of our league allows us to sort of protect ourselves against some of that. I know we talked about USA Hockey and their transgender ban, and how the league has been committed and is committed to staying inclusive in the most tangible way, which is quite frankly leaving USA Hockey, and that has been the decision of the league. And we are, you know, we understand that there are circumstances that USA Hockey has to deal with beyond us, beyond the leagues they support and executive orders and all of that. And so the league just has a had a decision to make about where we stood in that line. And when you're talking about someone's got to do it, and that's kind of how the league felt, was like if everybody just says we're going to toe the line, and ride out the administration and not do anything, and where everyone's going to just say, fine, that's fine, we can live with the executive order, then, you have folks that will use that and say, yeah, inclusion doesn't matter. We don't have to, like they'll still do it. They'll still pay their fees. They'll still play hockey, and for us, it was just about, there has to be sort of a line in the sand at one point and say, like, this is not what we're about. And we're just not willing to compromise on this. We have a few transgender folks in the league, and there was just no way I think any of us felt like it was possible for us to say this isn't the place for you. That was impossible. It was impossible. Like we had a town hall on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. 70 people were there. With 300 skaters. That's a huge amount of people
Yeah.
on a Wednesday night, and everybody was pretty unified and then we opened it up to a vote afterwards, and that was also showed a lot of, there were questions, of course, there were questions about what does this mean for us, what does it mean for insurance and all of that, and so we tried to answer those questions, but essentially the conversation was very clear that like nobody was willing to exclude league members to toe the line with USA Hockey at this point. And so yeah, we're finding other solutions that work for us as a league around, like I mentioned, insurance and things like that. But yeah, it was really, as the league president, it was an immensely like nerve-wracking time for a little while, but for the most part, it was really so heartening. Like there was just no question. Like there was everyone was like, we're inclusive. We have to stay inclusive, and
I
that means
can't
it's hard to say that.
I can't imagine like that feeling. Like because you've already like told us like y'all's connection in your league together and how you've supported each other and how like even during COVID you checked on each other. So I can't imagine the feeling of USA Hockey being like you have to get rid of these people for us to cover you. I I, I can't imagine being in that position.
And I apologize if I'm saying something that you've already stated, but for those who don't know, U.S. Hockey initiated a transgender ban this year. Was it this year?
Yeah, April of this year.
April of this year.
Yeah, it was born out of an executive order. Yeah, I forget the number, but yes, it came out down that any of the governing sport bodies for any sport just had to say gender assigned at birth. If you're a women's league, only gender assigned at birth women could skate in that league, and then co-ed could be mixed. And so a couple of women's league decided to go the co-ed route, knowing that they were just going to say we are essentially a women's league, but it does open up litigate possible bad actors to say, well, you're a co-ed league and I'm a man, I want to play in this league, and that can of worms. But yeah.
And that my cat.
Yes, it is.
so-
Yeah,
I
we
did wanna
didn't want to
ask
go
you-
down that route. Yeah, we didn't want to open that up at all, and
Yeah.
we just didn't want to be under the thumb. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was that rule now, but what could happen in a year? There's still 3 years of this administration. What could happen next? Like,
oh my God.
we just didn't want anything to do with it. We were just like, we don't have to. And I know it's a luxury because we could cover our insurance because of our numbers. We have a large enough group. But yeah, like
But
it
some
really
people
was-
can't.
some people can't. And we were talking about, could we cover smaller leagues? Could they be part of a association? So that's something we'd love to work on in the future, just to get people under our umbrella potentially. And like I said, we run at cost. We're not looking at it's not a money making endeavor. We just pay for we get a league fee, folks league fee. We pay for the ice. We pay for the refs. We pay for the scorekeepers, and that's it. Everything else goes. We don't, we try to just run, like I said, at cost and make sure we can. Our main goal is just to secure ice for our league members to make sure they can skate. But yeah.
I did want to ask, and maybe to get away from like tougher subjects for a moment, like when we were meeting, you talked to us about D skaters, D1 skaters to D4 skaters. Now, Bex and I somewhat know what that means, but to new hockey fans, can you explain that?
Sure. Yeah, totally. So amongst our 4 divisions, we have, our beginner division, which is brand new skaters, but our elite division, our top division, has really morphed into a very high level of hockey, which I think really says a lot about how the sport has grown in the last 10 years, more specifically, because we have folks that are coming in that, like I mentioned, folks coming into the Bay for grad school, tech jobs, etc., that played in a very high level in college, or even semi-professional, coming and skating in that league. So the college system, collegiate system, D1 to D3 or 4, like D1 is the highest level, so we have skaters that have come from there and skate in our what we call our blue division, our elite division. And so that group is about 60 skaters, and we have both those kinds of skaters, folks that were coached from a long time, or put on skates at 3 years old in Canada and come over here and skate, have been skating their whole lives. And in that division, actually, we do have also skaters who started in green in our division, 10, 20 years ago, and started in green, never had played hockey before, but played. And because they kind of stuck with it, played in green, we do an evaluation process to move up a division. So they get eval into red, which is the next division. And so they skate in that league, and then they eval up to maroon. And then, if they're inclined, they can eval up into blue. And so we absolutely have skaters that started with us and now play at a high enough level to skate with these other folks, which is just, I think such a unique and exciting prospect, like I'm in maroon. I don't ever see myself going to blue, but the fact that there's a pathway to go from a beginner skater to skating with these really, really amazing skaters has been really exciting. And I think exciting for people coming into the league, even now, like you're like green coming in now, and you're like, wow, like there's people that have gone, all the way up to the top, I guess, if you want to say that way. And it's been great to also see those higher level coaches, those higher level skaters come back and coach, like they coach green practices or green teams, and they really have been coached at a very high level for a long time. And so bringing their expertise into those other levels has been really, really cool to see. So I think there's a lot of give and take in the league in that way, and folks just volunteer their time. We have, those are the same folks that run like our Give Hockey a Try days. They run the drills, they talk to folks about how to skate and all of that. So lots of amazing like knowledge sharing amongst all the levels.
That's really cool.
This is making me
Especially,
wish there
like-
was a league like this here in my area.
Well, that's part of why we're doing the episode. Is
I
like
know.
there's things out there, guys.
Mhm.
Yes.
If you really want to step on the ice for the first time, there's an opportunity somewhere. Can we find it for you? Maybe.
Maybe we'll do our best to find it for you.
We will do our best. We do have a lot of like resources. I won't claim all of them because we don't know all of them, but I know like if I was not chronically ill, I would be so thrilled to be like, yeah, I want to step on the ice and try hockey for the first time. But alas, I'm chronically ill. So
My ankles are crying just thinking about me stepping on the ice, but going and watching a beer league game or a recreational league game and like supporting, yes, I need to go.
Yes, come to California, come to the Bay. We would love to host you guys. And there's
We're
a lot
really
of great
hoping to go to the Bay next year and actually see a Sharks game and a PWHL game, and hopefully we'll come and see you.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Yes, let us know when you'll come and catch some games, and yeah, we'd love to chat with you all. And yeah, there's some really great like Portland has a great league, Seattle has a great league, Denver has a league, Nashville has a league, Washington has a league, Dallas. There's all of these amazing women's leagues that are like kind of growing, that are probably experiencing growth for the same reasons that we are. And we talked about just wanting to share our knowledge about we've made mistakes as a league and learned from those, and like I mentioned, our evaluation process is there's a fair amount of rigor in it. Like folks have to come out and get evaled, and there are benchmarks and there are scores and evaluators, and it's a very very thought out process to ensure that we can maintain the levels of each of the four leagues, because we know that's important and an important experience for folks to have, like especially for beginners. A lot of times you go into a house league as a beginner, especially perhaps a co-ed league, you go in house league, and yeah, the lowest level skaters are like really good skaters that have been skating for a long time, and you never get to touch the puck, and you don't learn that way. So we really try to to protect each of the levels, so folks can come in at any level and slot right in and find a place where they feel comfortable skating to the level they're at, and then see like a progression if they want to get better.
I do think that's a thing too, is like with co-ed recreational groups, like I don't mean to sound, it's just like people with higher skill levels, like really not giving a chance to anyone else. And I like how your league in particular has them set so they're all like within each other's range. So everybody feels like they're not like being swallowed by something, or just being overshown by someone else, or anything like that. Because I remember as a kid, I think everyone has this memory as a kid of someone in like gym or something that's so good at something, and you're like,
I still think about that person today. I'm 35 years old.
Yeah.
and nobody wants to relive that feeling.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I have such a stark memory of when I first started playing hockey. I played roller hockey for a couple of years, and I was getting better on my skates and everything. It was a couple years later, and I just so clearly remember being part of a breakout, and I was looking, this guy was skating with me, and I had my stick down, and I was ready to get the puck, and he looked straight at me and would not give me the puck. And I was just like, I just have this such clear memory of that, and little instances like that happen, throughout hockey and throughout, in my experience, I played co-ed for a while, and first roller and then ice, and there are some really great folks that will absolutely look for you and try to pass you the puck. But there are also times where you're skating on a team of folks maybe you don't know that well, and you could go several games without touching the puck, and you just don't, you don't grow to love the game from those experiences. You have to. I watch green games when I get a chance, and I was quite like verklempt last green game I saw, because people were passing to each other. The puck was getting around to everybody, and like, yeah, it was because the level is fairly close that like, yeah, nobody's just skating away with the puck forever and not letting anyone ever touch, like, and with the coaching and everything. So I just think it's a real experience to want to play and want to learn. and not get that sometimes because there isn't intentionality in the way a house league might be built. And some are really great, but there are some that aren't. And our league just is able to sort of circumvent that by we do a draft style, so folks get drafted to a different team every season, so you're not with the same group. You might have a carpool buddy that you skate with, but by and large, you get to skate with new skaters every season. You get to meet new people. You get to get different kinds of feedback, and so I think that also builds the community because you get to know more people versus some house leagues. You bring in a team, and that's your team, and you skate with those folks every single season, and you don't get to meet very many other people. But the draft style allows us to kind of get to know each other, and I think that really helps build the community.
I also think with 350 skaters, like you kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's incredible. And like even with the passing the puck thing, like if you watch an NHL game or a PWHL game, they pass to each other too. So I don't know why in other leagues they're suddenly like, I don't have to pass the puck to you.
Yeah, I mean, I can speculate. A lot of folks, they play hockey and it's like their one shining moment every week to go and score a bunch of goals. And I just don't think that mentality. I mean, there's everyone wants to skate hard in the women's league, but there just isn't in general that kind of mentality of like pounding the other team into the ground or something or scoring 80 eight goals. There just isn't that. Like we all know each other. We all want to, you might score a goal or two and then you're starting to look for the pass. You're like, who can I get this to? Who can I get this to? Or even you're on your second goal and folks on the team are like, let's get her a hat trick. Like, let's all work together. There's like, I don't know. It's just not that vibe, It's competitive, but it's not cutthroat, It's still fun. And we all hang out at the end of the day. We all shake hands. We do a handshake at the end of every game still, that's just not the vibe. And every now and then we may occasionally get a skater, who comes in with that kind of vibe and they either adjust or they decide that the league is not for them. We don't adjust to that. We stay in the community we want to be. And if, it's not the right fit for a skater, we have had very few, it happens very, very rarely, but certainly there's been times where someone's come on and it's just not for them. We're just not going to throw hips and fists and it's just not the vibe of the league. And if that's what they're looking for, they can get it somewhere else. There's definitely other places to play that kind of hockey. It's just not with us. Yeah.
And you guys are a no check league, so like there's no.
Yeah, we're no check. Yeah, contact happens. It's hockey, but
hockey,
it definitely that would be an issue if there was somebody that was consistently checking or consistently like throwing hips or whatever. Like that's just not how we play.
It's not the vibe.
Yeah, not the vibe. Everyone, we always stay on the bench. We got to go to work the next day. Like it's like, this is supposed to be for fun. It's not supposed to be where we're worried about getting hurt or anything like that. Like it can be competitive. Like I said, it can be competitive without being cutthroat. Like
and it's supposed to be like for fun. Like
recreational beer league.
Like
the name. It's all in the name.
Recreational. Like at the end of the day, you're just there to have fun. You're not there to make money and be that professional.
No scouts in the bleachers, no scouts in the stands. Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it really, at least for me, that makes it intriguing for me because I would be, if my ankles would allow me, I would be dying to get on that ice and play. But if there was that competition of like, oh, well, the other team is cutthroat, like, maybe
it's not. It's not as fun, And I will say, I know for you both, like, I mean, we have folks in the league that, probably have maybe some similar stories and similar backgrounds, and it took a lot to get them out on the ice. But I do believe that there's space for everybody in the league. Like, really, like, or even just come into a Game Hockey a Try day. Like, you don't have to skate in the league, but you could come to Game Hockey a Try and like just get out on the ice and see what it feels like. Like, it doesn't. We always tell that to the folks that come out to Game Hockey a Try. It's not about, even though we do have a great conversion rate, it's not really necessarily about that. It's also about providing the space for folks just to come out and see themselves as hockey players if they want to. And we know how special that can be for folks and how rare it is for folks. So,
Because
And I think
hockey's
that's
not like basketball where you can just go to Walmart, pick up a basketball, and go to the local park and shoot hoops.
Yeah.
Like,
The bar of entry is definitely higher. Just
yeah.
gear, ice time, all that. Yeah, right.
And there's so many things that can be preventative from just like the average person playing hockey too. Like you were talking about how you guys help some of your members financially with their league fee.
Mhm.
Like that is something like that's the first time I'm even hearing of someone doing that, and that's incredible because yeah, hockey is expensive.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
especially for goalies. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Getting gear, replacing gear. So we actually have a fair amount of donated gear, and so for Give Hockey a Try, folks are able to just borrow gear sets for the day, including goalie gear. We have a fair amount of goalie gear. But we also have a gear sale right after, so everything is $10. Like we make it super, it's
Oh,
used, so it's
dang.
not fancy, but it's accessible. It's priced well. So folks could, ostensibly get a set of gear after doing Give Hockey a Try day if they wanted to, and then come out and play. We are looking for gear donations. We are running like our Give Hockey a Try has been very successful, so we've sold a lot of gear. So we're trying to get more gear in, just donating old gear is fine. But yeah, that's another piece. It's the assistance fund, but also yeah, we have a gear sale twice a year. Whatever we have that's been donated, we try to sell it for $10 just so that folks can get it, can have that accessibility. And yeah, I mean, it's been, like I said, I think we're really proud of never having to turn anyone away from the assistance fund. We've always been able to find the funds through either donated funds or operating funds to cover everyone that wants to play. And, we have some really lovely stories of folks that use the assistance fund for a year or, for a season or two. And when they got back on their feet, they donated all of it back. So they paid for someone else's assistance fund. It's like, I'm getting kind of emotional thinking about it, but,
Of course.
there's a real spirit, a real giving spirit, real genuinely good spirit there in the league, or folks have used it and then just given it back as soon as they could so that they could pay it forward. Like amazing folks in the league, really, really, really.
I think it speaks to how much being able to do a thing that you didn't think you could does for people and what it does for their mental health and how it makes them feel like overall. Even if it's just recreationally and not like as a like I'm doing this for the rest of my life. No, I'm just doing this for fun, but it's still like affecting their lives
Yeah.
so effectively and so wholly. And
I keep talking about the community, but it's really no joke. Like a lot of the folks that have, when they apply for the assistance fund, they share with us a little bit about, what their needs are, what they're looking for, and one of the very consistent themes that we see in those applications is just folks say like, I think I would go crazy if I didn't get to play hockey, if I wasn't able to be part of this community, for whatever. Sure, they could come and watch a game, but it's different than being out on the ice.
Yeah.
There's also the physical, like, the exercise part of it, but
Yes.
many people share how much the community means to them and how much being a part of it means to them. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's just, yeah, to your point, I think I've spoken a little bit too in the past about how a lot of, being a female in hockey is also being an othered in some way, right? Like I think all of us have had the experience of being the only female on the ice for a practice or for a class or for and what that feels like. And then compounding that with, we have a very strong LGBTQ community within our league and also, just a really diverse group. And so being othered in hockey and that being a weird sort of kinship too is something that is, I think, a foundational part of what we've built in the league a lot of ways is just, you were mentioning just being able to see that yourself as a hockey player, I think you talked about that a little bit. And yeah, just seeing it as something that's possible. Like, I mean, it's powerful, right? To see an opportunity for you to do something that you really wanted to do, for a long time. And seeing that actually as a possibility, I think is really, I don't know, it just gives you a different outlook, I think. And then to come into it and have the community, the kind of rich community that I think we do have, there's just something really, really special about that.
it is, and we've said this before, but like the people that you're talking about that come for like financial assistants, and they're like, I just need to play hockey. Like it starts with the hockey, and they get so much more, and that's part of the whole thing, right? That's part of what hockey is all about ultimately, or at least people who really like hockey. I think it's not just about, staring at a TV screen with a game playing or anything. It's about the people around you and how you're supporting them and
Mhm.
how we're together.
It gives you
Yeah.
a sense of belonging and a sense of personal reason.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like even if when you're an othered, as someone who's othered in many ways in hockey, as you know, but when it comes to like being part of like uh, I can't think of the word.
The
When
community.
it comes to just opportunity, I guess, to like you have no obligation to be like you have to do this. You could just try. You could just try, see yourself as a hockey player for like 20 minutes or so.
Mhm.
That's so incredible. And if I wasn't chronically ill, I would so, I've said that already, but I would get so dehydrated, it's not even funny.
Yeah, let's not do that. You
Well, and
don't
one of
you
the
don't need
things
any concussions, man.
one of the
Yeah.
things we try to pair with the Give Hockey a Try is right after there's the green game. There's like the beginner division game. So that folks come to Give Hockey a Try, and sometimes they'll see some of the blue skaters that are helping out or the other, other league skaters are helping out. And they're like, I can't like go into a league like that. And then they come and watch the green game. That's right after Give Hockey a Try. And they're like, well, like that is a beginner level. I could do that. I could hang it. So it's changing the perception too, because I think
Yeah.
you go out there, you do Give Hockey a Try, and you have like some of these folks that played in college running the drills, and you're like, wait, I'm not like I'm just having I'm just here to like and then you hang out, and then you see the green game, and it's proper beginners. It's folks that are just coming out of Give Hockey a Try, and you're like, okay, it just like changes that story a little bit for folks, which I think is uncommon because you don't see it. You don't see
No.
that even if you go into a community rink today in a house league and a co-ed league and you look at the beginner division, the bot, the in here in San Jose it's 5E or something like that. So very tons of levels, like 20 levels. But even if you go into what would be, essentially a beginner division, you go in there and you're like, if you've never really skated before, you're like, no thanks. Like
Yeah.
it can be really intimidating. But to go in and see our green division and be like, okay, there's some proper true beginners that are also learning the game with me, that are all sorts of different ages, like not just young folks that are going to pick it up that played like, other sports that are going to get really good at it really fast, but, proper, just like, for me, like just a middle-aged Filipino woman, like just playing hockey, just having fun. It's special to be able to see that and like have that picture change about what a hockey player looks like, and so we are happy to be able to provide that kind of experience for folks.
And that is important too. Like it's an important narrative, especially these days, of changing the perception of what or who, I should say, who